loves, we're back again. This is part 2 of our Party Pro series, and this is where we are arriving at the hostess's house. It's the day of the party, we're packed, we're ready, we got our bag. Of course, we have our fabulous starter kit bag. Everything pretty much fits in there. You may need one little extra tote for a filled roll-up bag and some products, your money bag, date book, that kind of thing. But don't go looking like the bag lady. Don't come schlepping in all this stuff when you first get there, because then they're like, oh my gosh, it look, like, boy, this woman has to carry a lot of stuff. At least go in just like with one tote, dressed. I recommend the beauty coat. It's what, $30, $40, $50. On MK Connections, it's so worth the investment. Of course, I'm in jeans today, I apologize, but when we do appointments and we're in front of guests, whether it's a career chat, a facial, a party, whatever you ladies know, we do have a Mary Kay dress code, which is a skirt. So we need to be in a skirt, blouse, shirt, sweater. Wintertime, we do tights and boots. If you need pantyhose to hold you in, which is me, do that. If you got cute legs, then go ahead and do no hose, whatever works for you. If you're gonna show your toes, make sure they're pretty and painted. That's all I'm saying. Like, you don't wanna go in with bad feet. So summer is coming, it's gonna get hot. Just look the part. We want to look professional when we show up, right? You're the makeup lady, so have a full face on and get ready to go. So when I get there, anybody who's ever had a party knows 20 to 30 minutes early, you're gonna come. You could do that in the hostess coaching. Another thing, and I didn't show it in the other video, is this is the coaching sheet working full circle. So I will send this in the email. It gives a place for the hostess's name, her information. As you get names and numbers, you can write out the guest list. It gives you, all this coaching steps, like 48 hours before the party and so forth, just to make sure you don't miss a step. Some people like a paper trail, some don't. So if you're like, girl, I would never use that overwhelms me, you don't have to use it. Don't print it off. If you're like, I totally need something to help me track, then print it off and use it. Because when it's not on Facebook or in a text string, sometimes you lose connections, you lose names and numbers. So the fact that you can write everybody's name and number on here, and then if they have to cancel, they can't come, or whatever happens, then you can still follow up and know whose party and whose hostess she belongs to. And it's also nice too, if that hostess wants to be a future hostess down the road, then you're like, hey, I still have your list from last time. Do you want to invite these same 10 friends again? And they love that, because then they're like, oh, you still have my hostess list? Like, totally still got it. Like, I'll just re-invite everybody. Let's make up a new pic collage and off you go. And then once I can talk with people and pre-profile them and know they're coming, I'll fill out a profile card, and then I could just have everything paper clipped, ready to go. So the night of the party, I just grab this off my desk or my date book, and I've got everybody's paper clipped in here. So I get to the party, and then I will start to set up. So what I do is I use a placemat, right? You want your table, this is kind of a mock setup. You want your table to have a little sparkle and shine. This unfortunately does not, I apologize. It did not bring a full display, but we're gonna kind of talk about stuff. Use a placemat, whether it's a Mary Kay one. I've seen consultants who have added, like from Kohl's or Walmart, Target, if you see some like bright colored, I saw one, she had like bright colored circle placemats, like the little netting ones. She got them for like $1 a piece, and they were like hot, like bright orange and yellow and green, like great for summer and spring. You just want to protect the hostess's table from wet washcloths and product. So I like to use, whether it's a Mary Kay one or you bring a placemat. I still have the old classic pink trays. I don't have the fun black ones like you new girls do. I'm still a bit old school, but I would have the profile card with her name and information and a pin by it. So when she gets there, she can finish filling it out for me. You have your little place cards, which is a great touch to write her name so she can find her place at the table. I use the disposable facial cloths all the time to wash off the product with. If I'm doing charcoal mask, I like to have a darker washcloth. Get gray, navy, burgundy, whatever, just get a darker color. It's just nice, it feels good. Women like a real washcloth. You can get a bag of these for like $4.99 at the end cap at Target, I think is where I got these. Like, I think it was 8 or 10 for like $4.99, so it's just nice to have. So I just have those laying there. I have a headband, and I have my cotton ball, my applicators, and then I usually, like I said, will have a free gift. I'm assuming everybody is going to watch the video that I'm sending them. You can get these great little peel and stick. They peel off and then seal. These little like cellophane bags from a company that works with Mary Kay, or they don't work with Mary Kay. They cater to Mary Kay, and it's called My Girlfriend's House. I love my girlfriend's house. That's where I get all my cello bags for my hostess packets, recruiting packets, little gifts, all different, sizes and colors and patterns. But then you can just put like a little hand cream down in there, a little piece of chocolate, and seal it shut. Here's a sample of like that glycolic peel. These are new, we love these. You can get like a microdermabrasion, drop these down in there. I like to stock up on like little Dove chocolates, just like put one piece in there, and that way they just have a little goodie bag to go home and do another pampering session on a different day. So this is a great little gift, little thank you. People love that stuff. So I would have that laying by their tray also. So this is kind of how I set up and I'm ready to go. When I have pre-profiled, right, sometimes we don't get to, but if I pre-profiled, what I will do up in the upper corner, like on the perforated part, I'll just put like CO for combination oily or ND for normal to dry. So then as I'm going through and squirting the trays and getting them ready, I don't have to like look underneath to see what I wrote about her, right? I can be like, oh, she's combination oily. Then I know what formula to squirt out. So when you get to the hostess's house, typically, if she's still busy and running around and going crazy, then so be it. Sometimes they're like, what do you need? How can I help you? I'll give her like my bag of cotton balls and I'll be like, oh, put one on every tray for me. So we just kind of walk around the table and we're setting and squirting and putting the product out. And this is where I do what we call the 4-point recruiting plan. So Mary Kay started this way back in the day. This is not new. It's been around for 55 years. But who makes our best recruits is our hostesses, because they love the product. They're willing to share you with friends and family, open up her doors and share her home with you, right? It's just kind of that next natural step. So while you're going around and setting up the table, you can start asking the first few questions, okay? So the first question of the 4-point recruiting plan is, who's coming tonight that might be good doing what I do? Who's coming tonight that might be good doing what I do? And just see what she says. Zip your lip. Do not answer back. Just keep squirting your stuff and going around the table and putting everything out and let her answer. Because if you pre-profiled, you may recognize some of the names. If she's like, oh my gosh, my girlfriend Danielle, she loves makeup. That girl wears more lipstick than anybody I know. She'd probably be great at something like this. And you're thinking, oh, Danielle, yeah, I remember talking to her on the phone. Or that's right, she texted me back. She was the one with dark circles or whatever, right? You're like, oh, okay. And if she's like, gosh, I don't know if any of my girlfriends would ever want to do Mary Kay. She's going to say yay or nay, right? She's going to give you an answer. She'll either name somebody or she won't. The second question then is, well, what about you? And zip your lip. Well, what about you? I know. You're like, I can't say that. You can. Because women all around the world are doing the 4-point recruiting plan, and you can do it too. So I had a new consultant one time. She's like, do I have to do this? I'm like, well, no, you don't have to do anything, but maybe try it for a month and see how it goes. And then if it doesn't work for you, you can stop it. Okay. So just try it. So then just ask her, well, what about you? And just smile and keep going around the table and decorating and setting up. And again, she's going to give you a reaction. She's either going to be like, me? Really? Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, I've never thought about doing Mary Kay. Right? Or maybe she's like, I kind of thought one time, but I never followed up. Or, she'll tell you something, or she'll tell you the opposite. Oh my gosh, girl, you're crazy. I never do Mary Kay. I'm not like you. I can never do that, blah, blah, blah. Again, you'll get a reaction. Good or bad, right? Yay or nay. Just see what she says. And then the third question is, why don't you just watch me tonight and see if you could ever imagine yourself doing something like this? Just watch me tonight and see if you could ever imagine yourself doing something like this. And now you've planted that seed in her head, right? Now she's thinking, oh my gosh, does Nicole really think I could do this? That's crazy. She's nuts. But what happens is throughout the party, she's getting pampered. Her friends are giggling and laughing. They're playing with makeup like little girls and having a good time. She sees you at the end of the night exchanging money, and they're buying products and they're loving it and they're booking at future parties, and she's thinking, that could have been my business. That could have been my money, right? You've just planted that little seed in her head. So just say, you know what? Even whether she says, that might be something I could do, or I would no way never, just be like, girl, just watch me tonight and see if you could ever picture yourself doing something like this, and let it go. So from that point, then I instruct her if she's never done satin hands, because in the new starter kit, you get a full satin hands. If you don't have one, take one off as a demo, or you can buy the little mini sets. Those are great hostess gifts too, for $4 on the mini deluxe on section 2. I love to use those as hostess gifts. Just get like some netting, put a little bow just to poof it up. It makes it look really pretty. But I just let her know as the guests start arriving, you know, I'll bring him into the table, we'll get him situated, I'll have him fill out the profile card, I'll match the foundation, and then I'll send him into the kitchen with you to do satin hands. And then she can kind of do that, get a drink, and then we can get the party started on time. So she goes off to get the kitchen ready. I finish setting up the table. One thing I typically do down the middle of the table is, depending on the season, you can kind of do whatever you want. Like summertime, I have a little pink beach towel I've used. I just kind of, depending on how long the hostess's table is, I can either lay it all the way out and put products and displays and the sun care and, you know, things like that. Or if it's tiny, I just have to kind of fold it. And I've done like holidays, right? You can have like a little Christmas basket with displays and product, and you want something in the middle of the table so it kind of wows them. There's a little razzle dazzle factor when they walk in and they're like, oh, everything looks so pretty, because you've got all the placemats and, right? You just want it to be a little bit eye-catching. Even if you don't have much, just use your roll-up bag, like an empty roll-up bag. You can put it down the middle of the table. You could have little hostess gifts or booking gifts or things. If they're like, ooh, what are all those little prizes for? Be like, oh, I'll tell you at the end of the night, right? Maybe if they're a hostess, they get a, you know, if they book a party, they get to choose an extra little gift or whatever you want to do. But just kind of have something in the middle of the table. And sometimes you get to homes and we're like on TV trays, or I've been in apartments with college girls and they had no TV trays or coffee tables or tables. So literally I had 12 girls on the floor, and we just sat in a circle, kumbaya, and they laid on their tummies. Some sat with their tray in their lap, and right, it just depends on where you're at and what you can do. Like sometimes you're at a bar setting. I mean, other times you're on a couch and they have TV trays pulled up to them. Like, every place is different. But if you can have your placemats, have your stuff set and ready, if you can have it ready, then as the guests start showing up, you are ready to meet them. So that's why we want to get there early. Especially, you know, when it's 100 degrees and it's hot and humid, and you can have a tank top on underneath your beauty coat, right? You've got the air full blast, you get to the hostess's house, you walk in, right, in that beauty coat, you're not sweating and dying, you're all ready to go and you're looking sharp. But show up early so you can have everything ready before the guests do. You don't want to come running in, you know, 5 minutes late or 5 minutes till, and people are all waiting on you, and now you're all frazzled and frustrated and, right, trying to get set up real quick. So try to get there early, so you can be calm and collected and looking sharp and ready to go. But as soon as that doorbell starts ringing with guests, then I'm like, I'll get it. Or, you know, I want her to know, like, bring them to me. This isn't like, oh my gosh, we just redid the nursery, come see the baby's room, or oh, we did the bathroom downstairs. We're not gonna go take a tour of the house. We're not gonna go show everybody. Like, we're gonna come from the door to the table. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna fill out a profile card, I'm gonna choose her CC cream or foundation, and then I'll send her in the kitchen, like I said, with the hostess, to do satin hands. So does that make sense, right? Because sometimes guests have, women today, everything is every day. Sometimes they have a, you know, not everybody shows up at 10 till 7 like you asked. Imagine that. Some are showing up at 5 after and 10 after, and you know, you're like, oh my gosh, we need to get this party started. So just try to keep the flow going, but try to get people. If she just redid her home, and she can give a tour after the party's over, right? But for now, we're like, let's go, like at 7 o'clock, at 7:05, like let's get everybody to the table, and once everybody's there and they have their drink and they've done satin hands, they can come back to the table. I usually tell them no food at the table when we first start, just because they don't need to be eating chips and salsa and rubbing their face and washing and touching their fingers. Does that make sense? And nuts and mints and, right? So if they want to snack, they can snack. They can bring a drink to the table. I don't mind that at all. But usually just no food at the table. Half the time there's no room. Homes are, you know, tables are tiny and they're button elbows anyway. So, you know, food can stay in the kitchen, bring their drink, they've done their satin hands, and then you can get the party started, hopefully on time. Okay, any questions on that piece of that, arriving at the party, getting everything set up and ready to go? Okay. Oh, and your flip chart will be out. So there you go. And I do have my product set up, both skincare formulas, my CC creams. I would have out my makeup remover, whatever supplements I was maybe doing that night, satin lips, charcoal mask, whatever. I have everything set up. So as I'm teaching the party, then I can romance them and talk about it and show it. So I do have everything set out where I can touch it and display it. Okay. All right. That is the end of segment 2. See you later.